Okay, hi everyone. So I'm really excited to share our product Jace, but first I want to introduce the team that helped make it. So start off with Chandrark,
Hello, I am Chandrark and I am the project manager.
and then I'm Chris, and then the lead backend developer. We have Jace,
I'm Jace, and I'm the lead front-end developer.
and then we also have Victoria, who is not able to speak right now, but she is the front-end developer, and then we also have Riya, who is also not able to speak right now, but she is a backend developer. And then we have Phakawat.
Hello, I am Phakawat. I am mentor.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll get started with the slides now. Okay, so Jace is an empathetic response generator. Jace, named after the project's lead front-end dev, is an empathetic response AI aimed at providing users with empathetic responses to their messages. It utilizes natural language processing in order to process and analyze whatever the user chooses to share and generates a comforting or uplifting response to their prompt. The model implements OpenAI's GPT-2 transformer model, fine-tuned using a dataset containing around 25,000 emotional conversations. Okay, so first we had to do data collection and pre-processing. So we had to find datasets with empathetic dialogues, and then we had to filter through the datasets to remove any errors and other issues. And then we had to convert the datasets, which were originally CSV files, to text files, and then format the files. And then after that, we had to train our models. So we used Google Colab to train various GPT-2 and GPT-Neo models. We modified the number of steps, parameters, and other features to create several versions of the product. And then after that, we had to test our models. So we scoped out the best quality product by comparing and contrasting different trained models. And then we went back to the data pre-processing to filter out errors which were creating issues. And then we retrained the models after that. And then after we were done testing models, we had to develop the product website. So we utilized HTML and CSS to create a website to properly display our work.
So here's our tech stack. So first we use our data set from which is called Empathetic Dialogues. We use Python and AI text gen to train the model and generate responses for the backend of the product. And GPT-2 was the model that we trained on. We also experimented with GPT-Neo and Distal GPT-2, which are other GPT-2 variants. However, the results that we preferred were from the GPT-2 model. We use Google Colab Service to train the model to save resources. We used HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for the front end, and we used Flask for routing and connecting the front end and the back end. And lastly, we use AI Camp Service to host a project on the domain. We used a data set of around 25,000 conversations based off of emotional situations. And using this, and since these data sets were conversations, like it'd make a great data set for empathetic responses from the prompt. So we trained our model to imitate those responses in a data set. However, since, as I said, there were conversations, so there were a lot of questions in that data set, and we did not want our bot to ask another question when we just wanted to give a comforting response. That is why we took out all lines with questions using pandas, and we also concatenated the speaker sentences for each response in a data set so that the model has a full situation for each response in its training data. For example, in this table here, where it says the speaker has like the job interviews always making sweat bullets, and the response would be don't be nervous. This response would only have this first speaker be its prompt. However, for the last response where it says yes, but if you stay calm, it would be okay, its prompt would be both the job interviews always make me sweat bullets concatenated with I feel like getting prepared and then having a curveball thrown at you. This way, it would have the full picture rather than just not knowing what the context completely is.
Here is where you can test the product below. You can enter a prompt, any prompt like "my dog died" in the text box. And then you would click the submit button and you'll see a short, small loading animation followed by a Jace empathetic response under the results heading. Like the example here shown, "I'm so sorry, it's so hard to choose a pet you have been with," etc., etc. As you can see on the right, we have some parameters. We have the temperature parameter, which is more specific but may reduce accuracy. The higher number, the more creativity, but also the higher the possibility of errors. And we also have the top P parameter, which has a higher confidence rating, so higher number, higher confidence. You also have an option to reset the settings to the default ones using the reset setting buttons if you didn't like how you changed it or you just want the default settings back.
Okay, so now we're actually going to try the product. Here. This is our homepage of the website. So you can see the arrow prompts you to scroll down. So here we have the purpose, application, and description, which we've already covered in the PowerPoint. Okay, so I'm just going to try the first prompt or some preset prompts that we prepared, but you guys can put some prompts in the chat that I'll try after this. Okay, so I'll just stick with the default settings for now, but if I submit that, it jumps back to the model and then it says, "I'm so sorry, I know how you feel," in response to "my dog just died." So another good example. So this one gives a lot more context. Let's try that. Let's see how the model does. I hope you have a good speech. So I think that's kind of comforting. It really understands the context there for that one. So yeah, now I'll try some from the chat. Let's see. Okay, I'll try "someone called my mom fat." I think that one's interesting. Okay, so this one, it didn't completely get the context here. So obviously there's some errors here. I guess it doesn't really get the connotation of calling someone fat, so. Okay, I like that one. Okay, today I woke up and my dog ate my hamster. I've been crying all day for that. Okay, I also think this one didn't really get the context here. Okay, we'll do one more, I think. Okay, yeah, I'm so nervous for this test. I think this was one we did in our testing as well. Okay, yeah, this one understands it a lot better. In response to "I'm nervous for an upcoming test," it says, "That's very stressful, but it'll be fine." Okay, so yeah, that's basically it. But before we end, I'd like to thank our mentor, Scott, or Phakawat, who was really patient with us throughout the whole thing and let us explore a lot with our product. Yeah, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you.